Steiny pulling reverse psychology with a switcheroo on the Warrior fans.
Oh, boy.
Becomes it all positive after a full thrashing.
Dude.
Warrior fans don't know how to... Come on. Do you guys...
I hadn't even thought of it,
You guys
Steiny.
ever watch the NBA for more than a week at a time? Come on.
I was one out. Your boy wanted.
They're
They're
like,
ninth.
to me,
I left you. They were 10th until tonight. Lakers Thunder.
We know who they are. Right now they're 9. They're playing pretty well. They still have trouble and haven't proven they can beat good teams consistently. That's why they're 9, but they can't get any higher more quickly. They're going to have to do this from probably a play-in position.
Wow. Man.
These are all things we kind of knew. And yesterday they did what most teams do more of than the Warriors over the course of a season. That's punt a game. They punted. No chance at that game yesterday. Just the brutalness of the NBA. I come in here, like I guess you know what? I guess I could have come in here today and said, this team's not going anywhere. They stink against good teams. Well, that didn't become news yesterday.
Well, the bursitis issue to me did.
Can we get a doctor, please, on the phone?
That's all I'm worried about.
To calm Guru down about
Wiggins.
bursitis?
We need them back. Take care of what you got to take care of, but they're missing them.
Look,
but the chef needs to be running on high octane.
Google it. It'll be fine for Milwaukee.
They say stay off of that thing. It'll kill you. I got a pimple. You're dying. Stay off of it.
All right. Let's start us off with, I'm not starting with Austin in San Jose.
That's our guy.
I know, but it says embarrassing effort.
I see. Real ones know.
Real ones know what?
That when you put Curry in that starting lineup, that's a game they wanted to win. So it was.
They don't win every game just because Steph.
I understand.
Steph can be guarded,
but
Steph's been guarded more this year than ever before.
Steiny, it was 82-38.
Yeah. So you made note of their biggest deficit. Well done.
Nothing on offense, nothing on defense.
I could have sworn it was like 111.
And then they didn't run the starters out in the second half.
Why would they?
We didn't see that against Toronto nor New Orleans. I have
to tell you something from the bottom of my heart.
I'm going to be real.
I'm going to tell you something from the bottom of my heart.
Give it to me.
Had the starters played in the second half, you would have complained about that. I really think you would have.
I thought that should have been a penalty. Their asses should have been
Curry's
out there.
Banged up. He plays 60, so Curry's not. You're not talking about Curry.
No, I'm talking about all of them. If he's good enough to play, you don't just get let's run the second unit out. No,
why not?
You got to mire in what you created.
That's what a second unit's for. Yeah. The starters were getting their ass kicked.
Everybody was getting their ass kicked.
They're at the end of a trip. Boston is wound up playing like it's a playoff game. You got no shot at it. Let Quinones play. You're not winning anyway. All right. I'll start with Austin in San Jose. What's up, Austin? How you doing, man?
Hey, I know you don't want to start off with me because I want to tell the truth, man. That Guru, you and I agree, man. That performance yesterday before live TV, the Warriors. Listen, I don't care if they were 5-1, 6-1 going into that, to put on that kind of performance in front of the national TV audience. And Joe Lacob was sitting there in the first. Do you think for a second, and all these fans are calling up, and Vontae this morning saying everything's fine, do you think for a second, and Danny, you're always telling us how much of a killer Joe is. Would a killer be satisfied with that kind of performance? I mean, come on, man. That was bad for the brand. And listen, another thing, the backups, look at what you saw yesterday. Just look. Don't listen to the sound. Those guys look like G-leaguers out there playing against the Celtics yesterday. The whole back end of the bench, everybody's excited about all these guys coming off the bench. These guys are average players. I would rebuild the whole back end of the bench next year. So no, that was an embarrassing performance, Steiny. And I'm not being sold on any kind of, hey, it doesn't matter. It does matter. This is the Warriors.
Well, here's how
and stop living on what happened 2 years ago. They won this title 2 years ago. A lot of these guys on the team didn't have anything to do with that. So let's stop this. We can afford to let a game go. We can't afford to do anything, man. That's what I got.
Appreciate it, Austin. You didn't say that.
If this was embarrassing, What was their last embarrassing stretch? I'll tell you what it was. It was when they lost to Toronto and then New Orleans. Okay, that was embarrassing. They got booed. How did they respond to that? They started winning. Like you cannot go through a whole, unless you're the 73-9 Warriors, you're not going through a whole year without getting blown out a few times. And that's a blowout. I'm not saying they didn't get blown out. That's embarrassing. Okay, it was embarrassing. We play Milwaukee on Wednesday. The score's going to be 0-0 at tip-off. Lacob, I'm sure, was painful for him in Boston. But again, I want somebody out there right now to tell me something we learned yesterday about this team that we didn't know. And my answer is nothing. We learned nothing yesterday about this team that we didn't know because we knew coming into the game they have a lot of trouble beating really good teams. And another really good team spanked them, just like Denver has done this year, just like Oklahoma City has done this year, just like Phoenix has done and the Clippers have done.
Well, I'll say
they got to start beating better teams before I think they can make a run. Now, all you out there that think they can make a run, you know, as is right now, that's fine. I would just say they're going to have to start beating some better teams at some point before anybody can realistically think they're going to make a run.
All right. I'll tell you, I hear you. I'll tell you two things I learned. That was game 4, missed for Andrew Wiggins. We don't know when he's coming back. And then Steph Curry is hampered by this knee issue. And I know we're looking for a doctor, but that's just what it is. He looked hampered. I thought it was tired or him being fatigued. He said against his coach's will. His coach said he was tired. He heard that. He said he wasn't tired. Okay, nothing to see here. We trust the chef. He's not perfect. He's not a computer. But Steiny, I watched him play and run up and down. There is something going on with the chef's knee. Now, maybe these 2 days before they play, he'll be right back. But Steiny, if this continues and he's hampered, they got no shot.
Well, no kidding. And I don't worry about that. Like, I don't worry about, you can't worry about Wiggins. He's either going to come back or he's not. Doncic got hurt yesterday. Brunson fell in the middle of the floor and clutched his knee. Right. I mean, it's bursitis. It's bursitis. All right? I heard Ponja give his explanation.
I can't wait to go look at that, too. I missed it.
So, I mean, yeah. I mean, to me, it's not hard to say if Steph Curry is hurt and they got to play without him they're done. Like, I think we all know that. If Jason Tatum gets hurt for Boston, they ain't winning it. If Jokic gets hurt for Denver, they ain't, I cannot, I can't worry about that part of the Warriors. Because the reality is, what if my answer would be, he's 36. I'm surprised he hasn't been banged up before this game. How many games has Curry played this year? It's been spectacular. If I can find it. Let's go to Brittany in East Palo Alto. What's up, Brittany? How you doing?
Oh, hey, what's up?
Hey.
I was gonna say, I agree. I don't think we should panic on the what if that's out. We all know everything's over. So let's move on from that. I think last night was a terrible loss. The starters lost that game in the first quarter when the Celtics went on a freaking, I think, 28-2 run or something crazy. Like, that game was over. You sit Steph down, you let him rest. These guys are old. They pulled off that Raptors win off of 6 hours of sleep. You know, stuff just caught up to them. So I think there's no need to panic off of that Celtics loss yet. And also, the Warriors have been beat bad like this before. Let's be real. And they always bounce back. So I believe in these guys. And I just think if they make it to the playoffs, no matter where they end up, I'm rooting for the Warriors. If they end up in the playoffs with Steph, with maybe not Wiggins, but with Steph and the rest of the team, I believe in these guys.
There you go.
That's just what I wanted to say.
Well, you need to take a little sliver from her, Brittany.
Probably about 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock.
Let me give you, and this is what I do, especially with my main man, Goo.
What you got?
Let me give you a little perspective. Curry's played 57 of 60 games this year. He's already played more games this year than last year.
Incredible.
He only played 56 games last year. Okay. Hey, deal with a little knee bursitis. Uh-oh. Well, He's already ahead of schedule in games.
Yeah, I got you. But
So-
when you say a little,
What do you
Bursitis, like, again, we don't, the worst could be.
Did you think Curry was going to play 78 games this year?
No.
And if he did, like, that would be remarkable. You know what? This is the same. You know what? If you're not feeling good, rest him for a week. Just one game against Milwaukee. You might be able to beat Chicago without him.
You almost beat Milwaukee
Yes, there you
when I
go.
went to North Carolina at Milwaukee without Steph. Just remember that. I'm saying, Steiny, you're trying to win the war, not the battle. And if this thing, him forcing it or trying to be John Wayne, I get it, but it what cost? I mean, 2 air balls were shot yesterday. Okay, everybody shoots air balls.
We've
but we're
seen
talking about
more and more air
you
balls
are
from
right.
Steph, not just yesterday.
And now I do go back and wonder if that's why we had seen a couple more. But again, Steiny, you got 2 days to rest, and the thing you just did, the exercise, whatever, I saw Booker get hurt. So I understand that, but when you bring up those guys, now we got something that we know is going on. Bursitis. It may be nothing. He may be ready to go Wednesday, but they could ill afford to lose him for 3 to 4 games.
This is where I got to go to the old Seinfeld. You said bursitis 15 times there. You don't even know what bursitis is.
It's something in the knee,
Where?
like tendonitis.
What part of the knee?
I'm not
Knee's a
Pangea.
big
No, it's hampering the chef. That's all I'm saying.
For how long? Do you think it's been all year? Because he's
Oh,
not
no,
shooting the
hell
ball as
no.
well as he
Hell
ever.
no.
This is the worst shooting year he's had since
No,
2 years ago. So
but
maybe it's been all year.
But you're comparing
Maybe
him
right.
to himself, which is the greatest shooter of all time.
Well, he's not right now. He's not.
Steiny, I'm talking about just watching him run yesterday.
I
was like, oh,
Forget
okay.
the Celtics game. Like, if you wipe the Celtics game,
Yeah, I
and
can.
erase it from your they still can't beat a good team. Like, that's still the biggest issue.
And now
for
they're
Matt
without.
Steinmetz.
Yeah, they're
not without
Andrew
anybody.
Wiggins.
Okay,
They're
they
without
went
Andrew Wiggins.
They just went 3-1 without him.
Okay, but it was 3 dump truck of teams.
Steiny, do you know what bursitis is?
No,
So why are you not worried about it?
because I heard Panja describe what's going on with it, and he said it can be treated with rest, with ice, with some rehab. It's not something that's going to keep him out for a month.
Typically caused by repetitive minor impact on the area.
Or a blow to the area.
That
From
I
a
did
sudden
hear on
or
the
more
yeah.
serious injury.
He's bumped knees a couple times.
All right, good. We got our built-in excuse. Warriors got their built-in excuse now. Steph Curry, who's not been shooting well all season long, now has bursitis, and so it's over.
Steiny, he's having a hell of a year compared to when you
Compared to
compare
what?
it
Not compared to his
himself.
own- No, he's not.
Well, you can't be super duper all the time.
This is the funniest thing.
Come on now.
So if you're the greatest player in the game, right? But you're the greatest shooter in the game, but now you're not shooting as well as you shot for the majority of your career. I get you're still a great shooter, but you're not the shooter you were.
Well, I just
That's
go to
very
Tiger
simple.
Woods. He's won different golf
Right, but he hasn't
majors,
won anything
and
lately.
some he's been better, but
Right.
he still was good enough to win.
Right,
Yeah.
in the past. Like, we've got to start looking at Steph Curry as he's not a 45% three-point shooter anymore. Maybe he's a 40% shooter. Well, Steiny, that's still great. Oh, it's spectacular.
All right.
But it's not as spectacular. And that means if Steph shoots 45% and you win 60 games, it stands to reason that if he drops to 40 and Clay's now under 40, you're not going to win as many games. That's what's happening.
Yeah.
They're getting older. Steph is not the player he was 5 years ago. No surprise. Clay's not the player he was 5 years ago. No surprise. So we've got to stop expecting them to be the players they were 5 years ago over a long period of time, months and a whole season.
Let me read this super
Like,
chat to you.
I don't even want to do it.
Go
'cause
ahead.
People
No.
are going to think I'm trolling.
You're not true. Let me
But
read
this
this
is
super
what
chat.
bothers me.
Hold on to it.
Steph hasn't lost a step. Come on, people.
But who's really saying that? I mean, it's natural.
That's the point.
Okay.
If you say it, you get tarred and feathered.
Oh.
But the numbers are the numbers. I'm just saying, 2 out of the last 3 years would be the 2 of the worst shooting years of his career from three-point range. That's not me. Those are just raw numbers.
Yeah, and 2 of the last 3, they've won a chip.
Right. They won a chip.
With him carrying the team on the back.
And you know what? And here's where I'm with Austin. Keep bringing up 2 years ago. Go ahead. Keep bringing it up like it's relevant in any way.
He was talking about the bench.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Is the fact that the Warriors won it 2 years ago, Does that have any relevance right now? I don't think it does. I don't think it means anything. I don't think you can use it as a template. I don't think you can use it for any kind of information moving forward.
All right. I can't get inside the guys that were on the team that are still on the team, their heads. But, Steiny, I believe that's something that they can go to, and that's what I thought was formulating. It still may be throw out yesterday, but the fact that they did it shocked the world 2 years ago. And Steve Kerr said that's how he was coaching, trying to, duplicate what they did in 2022. But we got a super chat, $4.99 from Sabo.
You got it.
I am not mad at the loss, but they are an unserious team. Really a game plan 15 minutes before kickoff. Who did they think they are? This isn't 2019. Now, the game plan, I have no problem.
They punted. Guess what? And I hate to say, when you're as old as the Warriors, sometimes you got to punt a game.
Well, you have to. Well, that would have been sitting Curry. That would have been a punt.
I'm not going to quibble over 15 minutes. Yeah. Played 15 minutes.
Yeah, you were down 30, though, Steiny.
Right, so get him out.
Yeah.
I don't know. My question to Warrior fans is the same. What did you learn yesterday that you didn't already know?
That they need Andrew Wiggins.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay.
That's fine. But again, I would go back and say, what do they need Andrew? Let me ask you this. I'm just pressing. What do they need him for?
To be the secondary scorer, the second best player.
To be what kind of team? To be what kind of team?
A threat in the playoffs. Okay. Maybe win a round or two.
Yeah, see,
or get to the Western Conference Finals. All of it.
Well, that to me is like.
Do you think that's gone? That ship has sailed?
Well,
I don't.
They have 20 games left.
22
through 60 games. They have not exhibited they are any kind of threat to get to the Western Conference Finals. Those are just facts. They cannot beat a good team consistently. They are 7-23 versus all the teams in the West better than them and the top 3 teams in the East. 7-23. So that's why I say they got their ass kicked by Boston on the end of a trip. I didn't learn anything new about the Warriors yesterday.
But let me give this to you.
Saying.
With the 7-23, shouldn't that be enough to fire up the Warriors to say, you know what, let's go add one to the 7 column and get 8? That was a measuring stick to me. Okay, Boston didn't win the finals last year. That was, Steiny, when you're 7-23 against good teams, I don't think you could punt against, I wouldn't, against a good team, and that's why I give credit to Curry for trying to play. They came out trying to win that game, so we cannot bring that 7-23 to the table.
Let me ask you a question.
And it's okay to lose, not like that.
I'm sitting with Evan on Friday.
Yeah.
Toronto game's kind of coming on. We're talking about the trip, and I'm like, hey, boy, I got it, but this would be a nice game to get. And even Evan said to me, yeah, because I tell you what, I think Evan said something like, Sunday, they may get absolutely boat raced. Now, why would Evan have said that on a Friday?
Because the team was 7-22 against good teams. Mm-hmm. Maybe Evan was going on the fact that Boston had won 11 in a row coming into this game. The fact that the Warriors hadn't, up until that point, your conversation Friday, beat a good team.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm blown away, not just you two, that a lot of people are putting in stock against the dump truck of teams they just beat.
Curry's a little nicked up.
I got standards for the Warriors. Hey, and we need every win. No, he's more than a little nicked up.
Okay.
He's more than a little nicked up. That's what became apparent yesterday.
So you expected to go in to Boston with Curry more than nicked up without Wiggins and what? Beat him or stay close all night?
I'm going to tell you something. Okay. I was in denial about how nicked up he was. Now I'm Mr. Bursitis.
Maybe the fact that they defend him like they defend him is one of the reasons he looked more nicked up.
Hey.
All right, 888-957-9570 is the number. Warriors, they lose to the Celtics. Are you focused on that and their 50-point loss or whatever it was? Or are you focused more on, hey, they got 3 wins that they had to get. They get some time off, get Curry a couple days off. Here comes Milwaukee. Let me tell you something. Milwaukee comes in here Wednesday and the Warriors beat Milwaukee. We're going to cut your riff today.
No,
and then
Milwaukee I told you, I'm not impressed with Milwaukee.
They're the second best team in the East.
That's the numbers.
So the Warriors can't even beat Milwaukee and it won't do anything for you.
No, it'll be a win. Every win is a win. But when you get embarrassed against what I thought was going to be a good game yesterday and a good barometer, I got a problem with it, especially when you lose in the fashion they did.
So you expect the Warriors.
Milwaukee is not good enough to me to where they can just come in here and kick the Warriors' ass.
You expected the Warriors to go 2-0 against Boston and Milwaukee when you were looking at the schedule.
It ain't about expectation. It's about you're a paid professional, Steiny.
Okay.
The game is not decided before the game. And for you to, or people to say it was house money, you ain't got house money when you're 9th or 10th seed.
Please.
Which game was more?
You can't expect a 9th or 10th seed to rip through 4 games on a road trip, finish up in Boston, beat Boston by 7, come home. Now we're going to beat the Butler. You're a 9th seed.
Okay. Well, when you're sitting with Steph Curry,
looking at this
I think you should be better than 7-23 in 30 games against good teams.
You know what? Blame Draymond, but you won't. Because you'll say, boy, he's been great since he's been back.
I mean, come on. We've made an album of that. Yeah, go ahead.
Of the games, like I would consider both of the last Sunday games to be gravy games, whether they're unacceptable or not. But which loss was more concerning for you, the one versus Denver or the 52-point blowout against Boston?
Evan, before I answer, can you just elaborate on gravy?
Denver.
Like,
well, you also,
gravy?
I mean, you were 3-1 each of the last 2 weeks, right? Or I guess it was 2-1 because you beat the Lakers in Charlotte, but...
And maybe that's where I'm going
wins
wrong.
Coming in.
Yesterday bothers me because I feel like Curry is hurt now. Like this is a thing. But Evan, the game I look at Denver
most
and
concerned
Boston
about was Atlanta. Well, that's the game that would concern me as a Warrior fan.
But that's the one where you guys could tell me, you know what, Goo, they weren't ready or blah, blah, blah. It's Atlanta. But Denver and Boston are top-tier teams.
Well, guess what? You can't compete with them. Right now, you can't compete with them. They're better.